Anti-derivative Jill.
There she is. There she is.
Signal all decks. We've been boarded.
Who dares to hide?
Whatever these pulses are, it's making it impossible to think clearly. It's getting harder to manage the anger.
You don't belong in that uniform.
So, Commodore, to what do we owe this pleasure?
The crew of the Hood has been lost.
Enterprise, we've got a containment failure. Get us out of here!
Inaccurate. Data in error.
The computer would appear to disagree with you, Commander.
I'd prefer not to discuss the matter, sir.
Their deflector screens have activated. It's impossible to get a look. We can't bring them back.
Greetings and felicitations.
Hello and welcome to Indefinite Lunch in Infinite Combinations number 109. I am Anti-Derivative Jill, and we're going to have a really fun show today. And I'm watching Star Trek Continues for the first time ever and sharing my thoughts about it with you. So today I have Dan Leckie, who is also watching these episodes with me.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. How are you doing today?
Not bad. Thanks for having me.
Oh, of course. So we're going to discuss Come Not Between the Dragons and Embracing the Winds.
Yeah.
And so those are the two episodes. We're getting through these pretty quick. Pretty soon we're going to be moving on to For All Mankind, and that's going to be fun. Franco Walker is the first one here, saying please
Hello.
Subscribe, hit the bell, share, hit the like, and select live chat. What do you love?
Hello, Franco Walker.
Oh, you were saying hello.
Yeah.
Oops. And hello to DJ Play Nice, the Comic Relief Crusader. He's also here. And hey, to Gavin Blackburn. And so, when is there going to be a members chat? DJ Play Nice wants to know from the Comic Relief Crusader. Oh, good question. Franco Walker says, if TOS Season 3 was the quality of Come Not Between the Dragons, we might have gotten a Series 4. Yeah, and they had some plans for Season 4. Well, they had some plans for Season 3. One of the most interesting things I think about in terms of Season 3 was that it was supposed to continue, and William Shatner was going to direct an episode. That would have been interesting. And so, well, yeah, we would have got to see him direct a Star Trek before he did Star Trek 5. I wonder if that would have made a difference. But let's look at this episode. We're talking about Come Not Between the Dragons, so let's find out what that dragon is. This episode, Come Not Between the Dragons, first aired for the public on May 28th, 2016. The story by credit goes to Greg Dykstra. Dykstra? I'm not sure how to say that correctly. Either way, it sounds kind of, well.
Probably Dykstra.
Yeah, Dextra. Oh, you think it's Dextra? That
Dykstra.
might be even cool. Okay.
Yeah.
And the teleplay was also written by him and James Kerwin and Vic Mignogna. It was directed by Julian Higgins. And hey, Tyron's in the chat. These days he's going by Bushmaster Billy T.
There was someone who worked on Star Trek: The Motion Picture who did quite a few of the visual effects for that movie that was called Doug Dykstra. So same last name.
Oh, really? Are they related?
Yeah. I don't imagine so, but
no.
Who knows?
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, that is cool. Well, there are quite a few connections, more than that, between Star Trek Continues and the motion picture. from what everybody tells me, the last 2 episodes of this series will lead into the motion picture. So I can't wait to see how that works. I've never seen these before.
Oh, cool.
The Comic Relief Crusader says, I will plan one soon. Things have been crazy on my end. Oh, right. Of course. Well, it'll be all right.
Yeah, I remember being really impressed by watching the 2-parter that ends the season and the series.
I was really impressed by this one. So if there's
Yeah.
more like that to come, I can't wait. So it was directed by Julian Higgins, and the Star Trek Expanded Universe website describes the episode like this. A troubled creature pierces the Enterprise hull, pitting the crew against a pursuer that threatens to tear them apart. And so, yeah, so let's get into these episodes. The lady who gets the first lines of this episode is Ensign Eliza Taylor, who's most known for playing Chiana on Farscape. I haven't watched Farscape in a long time, and I do remember enjoying the series very much, but I don't remember much at all of it. I need to rewatch it. It's one of those things I watched one time and I thought, man, that's a really cool show. I did like the puppets. Have you ever seen Farscape?
Yeah, I watched it like you. I watched it a long time ago. I think
You said it was cool, and then that was it.
Sorry, what?
And when did you watch it?
Yeah, a long time ago, like yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I vaguely recall this actress's character from Farscape.
Right, she's the let's bring her up. She's the blue one. And let's see, her name is wait, what is her real name? Oh no. All right, so let's pull up the actor list here. I should have that on hand. Of course. So let's bring up Star Trek Continues. I'm not between the dragons, so that we can know our actresses. And hey, speaking of people, Sentai Ranger Donnie is here. Hope everyone is well this afternoon, or this morning in my case. Despite the passing of Richard M. Sherman, Bill Walton, and Albert S. Ruddy. Oh, sorry you have to go through that, Sentai Ranger Donnie, and also of my, yeah. Let's see. So, Eliza Taylor is played by Gigi Edgley. And I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly, Gigi Edgley. There we go. And she of course worked on Star Trek Continues and Farscape. So let's see her. What else does she work on? And I'm just gonna look through here her IMDb to see if there's anything else I recognize besides Farscape. Because of course she's gonna, if she was on Farscape, she'd be on other sci-fi series that feature on the Sci-Fi Channel. Now it's spelled Siffy, but I'm supposed to still pronounce it Sci-Fi. But yes, she was on Farscape as Chiana. And so she played this character. Can't seem to bring it up here. So she played her.
Yes, that's the one I thought she played. Yeah.
Yep. Just in case you didn't remember.
I saw her. Yeah, I thought in Farscape her costume looked a little like the Borg Queens.
The board queens.
Yeah, really black.
Okay, you know what? I guess that makes sense. I'm glad she doesn't come in pieces. You have to put her together like a puzzle.
Yeah.
But I think I don't know. This is just me saying I want to rewatch Farscape at some point. But I love how they're discussing how the Lexington got caught in a plasma jet while they were studying some accretion disk, and everybody on the ship were able to be saved except the ship itself. So it seems like this is something that is occurring for some ships. I don't know. It seems kind of mysterious what's going on here. And Captain Kirk is relieved there were no casualties, but of course, Scotty says there were, the Lexington. And so they get that right. Scotty would be upset about that. Ariba Vel is here. He says, "What's up, Plessy Nation?" Hey. And Booger414 also is here. So good to see you. And also Keith E. Hello, Jill, Franco, and everyone. Franco Walker says, "I watch Farscape every morning. I didn't recognize her." Yeah, that's her. She's right there on the first slide here. I'm listening while doing some other stuff at home, so I may be a little quieter than usual in the chat. And of course, that's all right. We've got all the time in the world. The kids are home from summer. I don't have to run away at precisely 3 p.m. Miskatonic Madman says, "GG Edgley." I don't know why I didn't just look at the chat. You guys know what's going on. And there we go. Oh, okay. So Centaur Ranger Johnny fills us in a little bit. He watched Saving Mr. Banks on Disney Plus in remembrance of Richard M. Sherman. And Gavin Blackburn says, "I'm surprised at the great actors and actresses that a fan project was able to attract." Yeah, I don't know how Vic Mignogna did it. He did an amazing job finding some really great talent. And I think that is what makes good Star Trek, is someone who knows how to bring the right people together. And so, yes, thank you guys for being here. How many starships are going to be affected by whatever's going on here? Oh, I don't know. But let's see what's going on in the episode. And so McKenna is going to try to invite Eliza Taylor to the rec room, but Eliza decides to go to sleep instead. She's too tired. But actually, there's an article about Gigi Edgley being a guest star on episode 6 on Star Trek Continues, because they have a blog. They have a blog on their website on Star Trek Continues.
There's also Rod Roddenberry appearing.
There's also Rod Roddenberry. Yes, that's right. He's on the bridge. Did I pass him up? Did I show him yet? I didn't see him. No, I don't think he's shown up yet in my slides.
Okay.
Did you see him?
No.
No, I didn't see him either. But yes, we will stop on that. I did get screen caps of him, and he is absolutely there.
Cool.
He is. And that is pretty cool. Let's see. So the Star Trek Continues website, I haven't read this blog before, this particular one. So let's see if there's anything interesting here about her. Let's see what she says. So Gigi says, "I travel the world making productions and doing signings. On my adventures, I met Vic. He introduced me to his magnificent show. I played Chiana on Farscape over 5 years. So over this time, I was catapulted into uncharted territories of sci-fi. And through this journey, I fell in love with everything that exists within it. I've always been fascinated by Star Trek and how it influenced and inspired so many people over the years. I feel extremely blessed, humbled, and smiling to be invited to join forces with Star Trek Continues. Wow, that's really gracious, and she's really, oh, wow, that's really nice. Let's see, Booger414 says, I was more active in organized fandom. The USS Lexington was one of the Federation-based clubs that was friendliest to the Klingon clubs. They are still around today. Oh, that's great. Yes. Oh, yeah, that's true. A lot of fan clubs are named after the starships. And greetings. Hey, Sean Carter's here. But he's at work, so I can't respond to you all, but I'm here and I see the chat. I'm so glad you're here, Sean Carter. You threw a really cool party on your retro gaming channel the other day. Burger414 says the acting talent mixed with the fans is what set a few of these fan films apart from some of the others. But you know, even if they didn't get as good of actors as they did on this show, there was a lot of heart in a lot of the fan films, and I think this makes me interested in seeing other fan productions. The Comic Relief Crusader says, I'm trying to talk to Vic on a project I want to get done. Oh, wow. That's fascinating. Good luck with that. So that's really great. So she seems very appreciative to be there, and I think she did a wonderful job on this episode. Yeah, she has, and there's more, of course, on the Star Trek Continues website, but I think that first paragraph we read was everything we needed to know about her. She's great. So there's a hull breach. Oh yeah, that's the hull breach. That the creature that we mentioned in the description of the episode. A creature is coming through. But they think it's a meteoroid. They don't realize it's a creature.
There's Rod Roddenberry.
Oh, you saw him? Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah, there he is. There's the first screen cap I have of him. I have a couple more. So that's fun. Definitely. Although since I don't like anything past 2005, it's I kind of have mixed feelings about putting in stamp of approval all over things. But it's fine. He was in Star Trek Continues, so that's great. I like that part.
So you don't like any TV series or any movies or anything like that after 2005?
It's not my thing. I'll respect other people's opinions that they do enjoy it, and I won't mess with their joy. But oh boy, do I tried. I tried. I really did try to enjoy some of it.
Well, that's a lot of film come to the cinema and stuff like that you haven't enjoyed.
Yeah, I know. It's just not my thing.
For clarification, like you're speaking including Star Trek and other stuff as well.
Oh, not everything. Just Star Trek.
Oh, right.
No, there's been lots of stuff after 2005 that I enjoyed. Okay, I should have clarified that. That is a good point. Very, very astute observation. Dan Lickie, I should have made it clear. Only after Star Trek after 2005.
Okay.
Not including this, because this isn't canon, but it should be. So, but of course, I like the effects in this episode. They're very good. I was so excited to meet that guy that did some of the effects. I know he didn't do the effects in this episode, but they really care about it here, and so this is fun. we're about to take a little trip through the hull of the Enterprise, through a few decks. If it's going, here we go. And showing the hull breach from outside of the ship. It's just a big gaping hole through the decks. I think it's really well done. They still think it's a meteoroid. And so they're trying to find where it landed. But now they're realizing it's an intruder. We have an intruder on board. Intruder alert. So, also, before we continue too far, there's one more thing to mention.
Yeah, there's some banter between Chekhov and Sulu. I noticed here where Sulu says something about like he clearly wants to be promoted or something like that. I thought that, well, not only does it remind me of like the Voyage Home where Chekhov, regains consciousness saying like his rank is admiral. Also made me think of like the always ensign Harry Kim.
Oh, yeah. Well, Harry Kim never gets promoted. Freaking Tom Paris gets promoted. Well, I know that he was already lieutenant first and he got demoted, and so he got his pips back. But come on, he's Tom's always causing trouble, and Harry can't get a promotion. Makes no sense. But that's another show.
Yeah.
But you're right. Sulu says something like, sounds like somebody really wants some stripes. So yes, that's a cute moment. Sets are important components. I have seen some with strange uniform variants that are off-putting, says Booker.
Yeah. I thought maybe
I'm sorry, I'm just laughing at the chat. You guys are funny.
Cool. I
Go
thought
ahead.
I watched like you showed like I think it's the first slide where you showed Scotty. Chris Doohan is playing Scotty, and
yes.
I compared that to like James Doohan playing Scotty in the original series, and James Doohan's like hair coloration was a lot blacker. It seems like, it occurred to me that like I think because I think Chris Doohan's accent of Scotty is really good and really like his father's, but I think like it could I think it could have been fantastic if they'd
they matched the hair.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a really good point. Would have been good. I would like that too. But also, speaking of Scotty, this episode I think is the first time that we see the engine room in Star Trek Continues, which I think looks very good.
Yeah, from what I recall, it took a while for them to build that set.
It did. It was a massive project. They had to get some funding for it, and a lot of fans pitched in for that one. Scotty's son is awesome in this series, says Euler Greg. Very true. Very true. Poor and Harry, always Ensign Kim. But you know what? He didn't let that bother him. At least actor Garrett Long. He's always really happy at conventions and really enjoys his fans. He's very sweet.
Yeah.
So a massive rocky object is in the Enterprise. Let's see. If
not Rocky. That's a completely different film.
Well, not that Rocky. Yeah. The intruder is in Taylor's cabin. There.
Yeah, when it crashes through the wall, there's a behind the scenes clip that I watched that was really cool.
Oh, is it on the Star Trek Continues YouTube?
Probably. I watched it on Facebook.
You watch it on Facebook, okay.
I thought
That's
the design of Usti seems extraterrestrial enough, but always reminded me of Bowser, from Super Mario.
Oh, he reminded you of Bowser? He kind of he feels like a giant Pokemon to me. So we're both on different Nintendo games.
The multi-piece suit for Usti was built around a steel frame and weighed nearly 100 pounds in total. The suit was created by craftsmen Ed and Marcia Edmonds. They drove the Uzi suit from the warehouse in Denver to the Star Trek Continues studios in Georgia to make sure it got there safely. They were on the set to help the actor put on the costume, and they operated the suit, changing the lighting within the suit eyes on his back rim shell, configuring the camera goggles outfitted in Uzi's chest, and keeping the actor cool with fans and ice packs.
Yeah, that's right, because the person who came up with this story also created this monster. So this is completely practical effects.
Mhm.
And I think it looks really fantastic, which really fits with that 60s aesthetic of, I'm glad they didn't go for a CGI creature here.
Yeah.
He made a 14-inch version of it. Yeah.
Cool.
So Uzdi is the name. We haven't gotten to that point yet where we know his name, but we know it now. He was made from 12 different pieces formed around a 50-gallon drum. Oh, it took 3 months to bulk up the sculpted character to full size. Oh my goodness. Yeah, they've never made a costume this big before. So Ed Edmonds also worked on this too. He made a 20-foot skeleton. Wow. So yeah, there was a lot of good work, craft work in this episode. Really neat stuff.
Mhm.
And Marcia Taub Edmonds is the person that went into the suit. He was actor Damien Bear went into the suit. Sorry. I don't know who Marcia Taub Edmonds is. I guess she's the one who made the skeleton.
So
Now I'm getting everything put together.
Marcia, he made the suit with Ed.
Okay, that makes
and
sense.
operated it and put it on the actor.
And the actor Damien Bear was 6'6", and he's basically blind in this costume. So I don't know how that worked out. They all did an amazing job with this thing. I can't believe there's someone inside it. That, of course, that makes sense, because then otherwise it would have been CGI. This is so cool. So how do they also had to work on getting this thing to move? Huh. Interesting. Excellent work. Thanks for bringing that up, Dan. Let's see. But I like that too. I like the effects of the ship getting torn up by the creature. They're also very good. Kirk tries to communicate, but failing at that, he asks the transporter chief Wilson to use intra-ship beaming. So that would mean he's definitely trying to beam the creature somewhere else within the ship and not trying to space it. So that's at least one good thing. But he does say beam it out of here, which is a kind of a conflicting sentence. But I'm sure he means out of the room. Otherwise, he wouldn't have asked for intra-ship beaming. But we never really get to see that because uh, Eliza throws something at it, and it runs away. And Spock says the alien must be generating some sort of sensor shroud. Because that's how they explain why they can't figure out where the creature is throughout the episode, because it blocks your ability to sense it. I don't know how though exactly. So we just have to accept it. Hey, Real Wade Nation Gaming is here. Hello. Whoa, that's wild. Congratulations, Will Wade Nation Gaming. He hit 1 million total views. What? That's crazy. I think intra-ship beaming refers to not going to the transporter room to beam, says Franco Walker. I always thought intra-ship beaming meant that you transport from one part of the ship to another part of the ship, but you're just meaning...
Yeah, I agree, Joe.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Okay. But interesting notion.
I've noticed you're saying intraship.
Intra-ship.
Yeah,
Yes.
INTRA, but whereas Franco wrote intership, INTER.
Oh, okay. It was nice to see Gigi Edgley in something after Farscape. Yeah, absolutely. She doesn't, I don't know. Yeah, she was really good in this too. I love all the wires and things singing, all the destruction. It's cool. Let's see if we're playing this. Sometimes my slides don't go. Here we go.
Oh, she's Australian.
So I guess people just like throwing things at this at this creature, because then Kirk also throws some tapes at the thing, at the creature, at a Uzdi. And there's our Chief Wilson. I don't know what Kirk's thinking, throwing things at it. It made sense for Taylor to throw something because she was scared. What is he thinking here?
So her name's Taylor. I wonder if she's any ancestor of Gillian Taylor.
Oh, interesting. And when they bring Gillian Taylor back from the past to the future, does that have anything to do? This takes place before Voyage Home. Yeah. Does that have anything to do with her existence afterwards? I don't know. That's it. I didn't even consider that. Good question. And in case you guys don't know, I do have one clip of Gillian Taylor.
Cool.
See you around the galaxy.
So Kirk, okay. Now they're learning about what the creature is made of, because Dickerson ends up having to fire at the creature, and his eyes turn from red to blue. And I don't know what the different meanings of it is, because it seems like the creature has eyes that change from red to blue to yellow, and who knows what other colors it can be.
I find it interesting. Uzdi has very high salt levels, as it says in this screenshot, and the sort of the importance of salt in the very first episode of Star Trek that was ever broadcast, the Man Trap.
Yeah, okay. This made you think of the salt vampire. Yeah, I'm glad it didn't try to sap anybody's salt. Or good thing he didn't get hungry. Uzdi didn't get hungry.
Yeah.
And also it has several hearts. And Spock is also interested into this, perplexed. He says, complex living polymer chains interwoven with infrangible metals and minerals. I'm not able to calculate how it propels itself at such high velocities, nor am I able to determine how it survives the vacuum of space, which of course might make us think of other TOS entities that live in space, or other Star Trek entities in general, like the space amoeba from the Immunity Syndrome. But I also think about the jellyfish from the Next Generation. And things like that. Like, also, they had that one baby that was eaten off of the Enterprise D in Galaxy's Child, where Geordi learns what happens when you don't clear your browser history.
Yeah, there was also Tin Man in Next Generation.
Tin Man? Oh, yes, that's a very good one. The crystalline entity also.
Yeah.
And for a animated series reference, the cloud from one of our planets is missing. That cloud creature. And this part, it kind of reminds me of Arena, because remember when they use these devices, which kind of reminded me of that they had the universal translator that the godlike aliens gave them. And so I wonder if they learned how to, learn from that somehow. So Taylor speaks to the creature first, apologizing if she hurt him, which is a pretty good start. And she even gets his name, which we already know. It's Uzdi. And then, of course, throughout this episode, the ship is hit by these shockwaves over and over again.
Yeah, here I thought it was strange. It says "Me Too Heart," and I was like,
Yes.
well, that could be taken as like T-O, or like its intention is to hurt, or T-O-O, like it's to heart itself. So it's coming for sanctuary.
Exactly. And so its intentions are unclear at this point.
Yeah.
And of course, we know it ends up being the latter.
Yeah.
I meant to pause right here. Another shockwave. Kirk was hoping to knock it out with the tapes. Let me throw some tapes. Let's throw some computer tapes at the monster. Surely that'll do something. How does the text chat get clogged with stream elements sometimes, and just a few other times? And you can turn them off in the setting. Can you turn them off in a setting option somewhere? I mean, I can do that. I guess if you don't like the stream element promotion, I like to share links of my friends' other channels and their things. I need to update it, but if it's bothering you, I don't know. I'll consider something. I don't know. Maybe I need to separate when people are when they. I'll see what I can do about the timing of that. But I'll take that into consideration. But I can't deal with it right at this moment. Gavin Blackburn says maybe she's related to Taylor from Planet of the Apes. Get your stinking claws off me, you damn dirty space monster. So that shows us the timeline. STC takes place after TIS. Yes. Yes, I do believe so, because they have the proto holodeck room, the prototype room, which they used in a previous episode.
And also news leads up to the motion picture.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's a prevailing notion. And also, Uhura thinks what's happening is echolocation. And so, since we know that during this episode, whatever this shockwave is affects people's emotions, it's some kind of echolocation with emotions. It's kind of strange, right?
What sort of thing uses echolocation? Is it like bats and dolphins and stuff?
Yes, dolphins use echolocations, and yes, bats do. Right. In order to see without seeing, using sound.
Yeah.
And so her is using this knowledge to figure out where these shock waves are coming from. And for whatever reason, the deflectors are not doing their job at deflecting these shock waves. And so if you're just listening and you're not looking at the slides here, the ship shakes like crazy and there's a red pulse that passes through and everybody is wincing. They're in pain. But Spock feels more pain than anyone else, and he gets extremely upset. Knocks Dickerson out. This guy gets beat up throughout this episode. Spock grabs his phaser and aims it at the creature, and he says, "I'm in charge. You'll respect me." And so obviously Spock is not himself. He shoots the creature doubles over, protecting himself, and Taylor is scared. And she runs to Spock, but he swipes her aside, and he blames Uzdi for his violence towards Taylor. He's completely absorbed by the anger, and the anger, of course, is coming from the shockwave. And so they better have good reason this is happening, and they do. But before we see Spock here lying on the bed in sickbay, the monster gets one hit into Spock and knocks him through the wall, and so he's injured. And we start to see Kirk starts losing it. He's getting angry too. He looks all around the bridge. Everyone's disturbed, and like him, they're all aware something is seriously wrong. Everyone on the bridge is feeling off, and they begin to mention the weird feelings that they have. They're starting to feel paranoia and fear and resentment. And I like the way that this builds. It kind of reminds me of Day of the Doubt, where an external alien boards the ship, making everyone feel hatred from each other, which makes them want to fight. Here it's just anger, but the anger leads to hate here, so that makes them fight too. So we know whatever is creating the shockwave has some sort of telepathy, I suppose. Luckily, those handy handheld universal translators work, or else we might have had to see Spock do a mind meld, but he's in no state of mind for that anyway. He's in no condition. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you, DJ Play Nice. I'll still see what I can do to make things a little less crowded for you. So they don't post one after the other. Yes.
The sort of the frustrations and stuff remind me of the two, but also a little bit of a Deep Space Nine episode called The Forsaken, I think.
The what? Which episode of Deep Space Nine?
I think it's called The Forsaken.
The Forsaken. Okay, you're breaking up a little bit for me. I'm not sure what you're sounding really good.
Sorry, it's called Fascination. It's a Lubbock Sonic.
Oh no, that episode.
That was
like a horror episode. It was really outrageous.
But I noticed as well, like the scene where where Usti crashes through a wall sort of reminded me a little bit of the Horta in Devil in the Dark, and it was right as well echolocations used by the Horta in a short story or something like that.
Oh, in a short story?
Yeah.
I've never heard of the Horta using echolocation, but I suppose that would make sense. I don't see any eyeballs, but I figured it could see somehow. I never considered that. That's neat. That's a neat idea. And yes, but the Horta does tunnel through things.
Mhm.
I didn't consider that here either, because this creature is tunneling through the starship.
Yeah.
All right. Oh. So McCoy's working on him. He says the mesiofrontal cortex suppresses the emotions in Vulcans, but his is working so hard, I'm afraid it's going to burn up. And so I checked it out, and it turns out this is something that we learn about in a Star Trek Voyager episode called Meld. In that episode, Tuvok loses his control in that episode as well. So that's also what's happening to Spock here. At least they give that reasoning. I appreciate that. This was in Voyager's second season. And so I've been watching a lot of Voyager lately. And beginning of season 7, they have some weird moments of turning Tuvok being a Vulcan into a weakness, but in unbelievable ways. Because there's in one episode they say that the neural suppressant that's supposed to keep him from being fully assimilated by the Borg just doesn't work on him, which I don't think makes any sense. Due to his mental discipline. Like, even if you just say that he's just more telepathically sensitive, I feel that it doesn't really do Vulcans justice. So it's good to see that they took from the good Voyager episode where it makes a little more sense. If you do something with the center of his mind that can control his emotions, then that makes more sense that this will occur. Another thing that Star Trek Continues gets completely right, and this is also great to see, is that Spock also recognizes that he's losing control, but he has enough control to say it. He has to be restrained, and honestly, they should have locked him up like he says. And so they should have put him in the brig with visits from McCoy. I don't understand why they didn't do that. But I guess McCoy, it turns out it's fine. McCoy's really good at keeping Spock asleep. But Spock knows he's very dangerous. Of course, not just because he's 3 times as strong as humans, but also that those emotions are so intense that they take over his ability to control his actions. His primitive mind is taking over, and he knows it. Gavin Blackburn says Tuvok melding with a serial murderer. What can go wrong? No, not much at all. It was kind of a good episode. I like that. Betazoid serial killer. He has quite the arc. Like, he has a pretty intense arc for a side character.
He comes back in the Basics 2-parter as well.
Yes, that was a really good one. Unfortunately, that was the last time I got to see him.
Right, I think Brad Dourif, who played that character, Lon Suter, is just such a great actor.
Yes, agreed. I think that's what made the character work so well.
Yeah.
And there's another red pulse, and it knocks McCoy to the floor. Everyone's in more pain, especially Spock. So this happens a few times during this episode. So people it seems certain people get really upset at Uzdi, and other people just get upset because they're upset, and they just get mad at whatever's happening. And Dickerson continues to have a bad time. He just gets really beat up during this episode a bit.
Yeah, is this the scene Kirk imitates Scotty?
Oh yes, it is. Is it?
Yeah, it's
He
funny,
does it.
and he does the same thing in the motion picture.
Oh, he does. Yeah, he says. Let's see. Mimics. Craig mimics him.
Mhm.
That he's going. Oh no, not yet. Well, I'm guessing he has to actually. I think that comes a little later,
Oh, right.
but he does send him to the brig. That's when they get angry at each other. But Scotty does just seem he doesn't get as angry as everybody else. He's just kind of getting drunk. Oh, hey, Eugene Bird sent a present. Thank you so much, Eugene Bird. That is awesome. He's sending a little hippo that's spinning around.
Cool.
Okay, so we're talking about Scotty. Do I have any good Scotty clips? Let's see.
He was really, and Dave the dog got really excited about the swords. And then
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Let's play that one. Is it here?
Bobby,
Oh, hold on just a second.
why didn't they tell?
You're a beauty.
Yeah.
I've got to assist my daughter real quick, guys. If you could talk a bit about something, I don't know, Day of the Dove, or whether or not you think, should Spock be in the brig? What do you think?
I think that's an interesting question because, like, both Kirk and McCoy, care about him to the degree, but like I remember, like even Cisco was in the break, in the episode Facets, or I think it was, yeah, where they have the Tara and Deep Space Nine. There's lots of times when like beloved characters, as it were, have to sort of face time in the break, uh, until they until they can be set free. I love that scene as well. Gavin Blackburn, who points out it's green. It's green.
Oh yeah, and I have that one too. Here it is.
That's green.
Also this.
That's to kill the pain.
Cool.
But oh yeah, I have this Scotty one too.
Scotty, I can't change the laws of physics.
And I don't play that one often enough.
That's awesome.
It is. So thanks again, Eugene Bird. Thank you. My favorite brig moment was in Mirror Mirror with the alternatives. Oh yeah, that is really fun seeing Mirror Kirk yelling. What's still not working? Okay, so I don't know what's going on. My daughter's YouTube thingy, tablet. It's not working. And so I've got to figure this out.
Because I didn't break it, and I didn't.
Well, but why is this working if the whole thing isn't working? Fixing the slide on air.
So someone asked me about my stream. Basically, I coordinate a YouTube channel called Subspace Chatter. The broadcasts or multicasts on Saturdays. And this week we'll be talking, because this is the final week that an episode of Star Trek Discovery will be released. We'll be having a retrospective discussion about Star Trek Discovery, and then following on from that, we'll be talking about various episodes from the original series, basically. But yeah, join us on Saturdays. If you subscribe to the channel, like any channel on YouTube, like unless, in case you don't know, you can subscribe to a channel on YouTube and change the bell icon to all, and it will show you all notifications of when a particular channel goes live or posts a new video. So, quite handy, really. As well as the YouTube channel Subspace Chatter. You can find Subspace Chatter's social media by going to www.subspacechatter.com. And you find all the social media there. You may need to add in at the start of that https :// www.subspacechatter.com. I always thought the doors in the corridors of the Enterprise were red, but sometimes the gaps look orange. Like in this screenshot behind Kirk, I think like this one looks quite orange. What do you think? Do you think they look
it does.
orange?
It does look kind of orange, but
Yeah.
I'm still trying to help with this issue. So
Alright.
I'll just be another minute. I'm trying to restart the tablet to see if that helps.
Cool. I think it's cool. Turbolift in the background. If you'd zoom in, it says like Turbolift 2. I think it is, or it's either Turbolift 2 or 3. I think in the signage above the door. This is a pretty cool, neat touch.
Okay, that worked. All I had to do was restart it.
All right.
Yeah. No, I should have played this video. I forgot to play whenever there's a problem.
Houston, we have a problem. We have a main bus B undervolt.
Or I could have played this red alert, which makes some people a little bit dizzy. I have another. Wait, where is it? Did I get rid of it? No, I didn't.
The ship is on red alert.
They did a weird zoom in and out during that episode. I think it's
Gavin
goofy.
Blackburn says the doors used to seem black and white to him.
I see.
I guess
That's
they
how
would
we know
be
it's been on.
white television.
Well, thank you very much. You did a very good job, as I was having that a little emergency there.
No problem. I'm glad you got it fixed.
Me too. She's much happier now.
Fantastic.
Oh, right. Okay, in the last scene, Kirk had to fire his phaser at Spock. And they don't put him in the brig, but instead they just say double the restraints in sickbay. So, fine. Which takes us into Act 3. And we start seeing anger take over as the primary emotion of everyone on the ship. Yeah, have you tried turning it on and off again? That is really half of what it takes to be an IT support. And oh shoot.
Wax on, wax off.
So what happened? One of the ways that you see this anger, which I already skipped over the slides for it, was Palmer was working on a panel at the communication station, and she causes some sparks to go off. And so her gets frustrated and says, "You can't analyze a triaxulated signal like that. If you aren't capable of following instructions, you don't belong in that uniform." Like that. That's obviously nobody is behaving like themselves. That's not the way Starfleet officers should behave, but she is not herself. And so they're all being influenced by these shock waves. And so it's interesting that they're red. They're all seeing red. Meanwhile, Sulu says the waves, they still think it's just similarly earlier, like when they thought that the creature was a meteoroid instead of Uzdi. Right now, they think that what's throwing the shockwaves at them is another starship.
So they're all seeing literally invisible.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So it's some good symbolism there.
Mm.
And Kirk's totally lost it. He's angry at Uzdi, even though he doesn't really even know him.
Yeah, maybe something like this happened to the crew of the Defiant in the Alien Web. Because they went mad.
They did. That's an interesting point. I didn't think about that. They did go mad, and they're all dead. Well, in this case, Kirk he knocks out Sulu and sends him to the brig. he punches him. Oh wait, not the brig. Confined to quarters. Sorry, got that one mixed up. Also, Claude Parrish says, "Hey, also hello. I wish that Star Trek Continues had remade one episode, not just bits or follow-ups. Doomsday Machine would have been a good one. Probably not financially feasible, though. Oh, yeah, that would be interesting. I do like, though, that they wanted to create their own stories. The only time they ever did shot for shot was at the very beginning of the Mirror episode, where they shot the very end of the episode, or the very end of the episode, and then just continued it. And that's why it's called Star Trek Continues, not a Star Trek, cover band.
Yeah, Turnabout Intruder, the final scene, they reshot.
Oh yes, that one too. That was a vignette. They also shot that, and they also added just a little bit to it at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got a message. I don't know if I need to pay attention to it or not. I don't even know where my phone is, actually. So I guess I'm not going to pay attention to it. Oh well.
Yeah, I thought that Mirror episode was really interesting because, like, the rest of the series is like, takes place after the animated series, apart from that one episode where, it immediately follows Mirror.
Wait, what are you saying?
I thought, Fairest of them all, thought it was really an interesting episode. Not only because they changed like the opening credits, but also because like the rest of the series, the rest of Star Trek Continues is set after the animated series, apart from that episode. It was set after Mirror.
Okay. Booger 414 says it's a tribute band, not a cover band. Oh yeah, that makes more sense. Quoted from the movie Rockstar. Star Trek Continue made one story I know of that comes from Phase 2. Oh really? Which one is the Phase 2 story? I didn't hear about that. And hello to the Reluctant Dragon. I'm glad you're here. Caress that like button and subscribe for more anti-derivative content, says Claude Parrish. Very well said. And Taylor has noticed that Uzdi knows where these waves are coming from, and he's afraid every single time they happen. So what's happening here? Okay, so right before this, Kirk goes ship-wide, tells everyone to find the intruder. And so we'll see other crew members getting irate with each other, but for whatever reason, the only person who is not affected by any of this is Taylor. And she's the one she's harboring Uzdi in her quarters. And the rest of the ship, they haven't found her out yet. But McKenna was called Taylor calls McKenna to her quarters. She thinks she can help. But McKenna is not unaffected by the anger. She's getting angry too. But it looks like Taylor made the right call because McKenna kind of comes up with the solution almost instantly. She says instead of fighting the anger, they should use alpha wave inducers that are used for psychological trauma. So in canon for Star Trek, these inducers are used as a sleep aid, which follows along with what we know about them in reality. Because in reality, it is believed that these waves, they help with depression, and they usually occur when you're daydreaming, meditating, or practicing mindfulness. The Reluctant Dragon says, forget the episode name, but it's the one where Sulu gets lost in time. Oh, I haven't seen that one yet. Claude Parrish says, Michelle Shept grew on me after initially feeling like an intruder to me. Yeah. Right.
I don't remember anything to do with it. I don't remember continues doing any phase 2 adaptations, and I was trying to do a search for a web search, and it comes up with no results.
I haven't seen all of them yet.
Yeah, I know there was the fan project Star Trek New Voyages that got renamed Star Trek Phase 2. There was a fan film series. They did at least one adaptation of Phase 2 with Katumba, I think.
Tamba. Oh, okay. Oh, Franco Walker loves the scene coming up where McKenna knocks out McCoy because she needs the alpha wave inhibitors. That's also not the normal way to get what you need, but
there's also a great behind the scenes video of that sort of punch as well.
Oh, they do.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Shows you,
anything interesting?
It shows you the moment in slow motion, like from a distance sort of thing, and I'm like, whoa, like that's really quite near the McCoy actor's face that the counselor hit.
It looked like a really good punch, so well done on that. I was pretty sure. I was wondering if it actually did hit him. So
No.
She just got really close.
Yeah, just really close.
And Scotty's here with a very classic looking flask here. just having a good old time. Don't tell me how to do my job. Oh my goodness. You don't even pay attention to the fact that there's something wrong with the engines during this. So of course another red wave knocks everybody out, and McKenna punches McCoy. And so yeah. So everybody else is worried about being angry, but he's like, he still loves the Enterprise. He's still working on the ship. No one really cares about that except him. Except right now, anyway. Kirk is a bit distracted because it seems he's been almost targeted by the shockwave to be especially upset at Uzdi. But I don't know. It's not really clear how the shockwave works, or if it can be targeted in that way. Booger 414 says New Voyages had a couple of scripts that were intended for the original Phase 2. Those were some of the first victims to Paramount asserting their rights. Yeah, unfortunately, they can do that. They can tell a fan film that they can't be fans. It's kind of messed up. Burger 414 says the old Sulu episode was actually New Voyages, and it was called World Enough and Time. Yeah, I think I will take a look at New Voyages sometime.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Mhm. So McKenna is using these alpha waves, and she's made this little armband that will induce these waves. So she's cured a couple of crew members. She's cured McKenna, Uhura, and a red shirt. And so I guess she needs to get this to everybody. Burger says, "Whoa, I heard that Jill may become a convert." I'm gonna, yeah. I'm thinking of what I want to see more of these fan films. Why not? And I also know I have a friend, Raymond Feliciano from King Dolphin TV, who has a whole list of fan films he wants me to watch. So I've got a lot of work to do. I tried fine-tuning the translator, but he's not saying anything. So yeah, Uzdi is not talking. And well, but okay, so they have cured McKenna, Uhura, and oh, what's his name? He has a name. And he is a red shirt, but I thought I had his name here. Let me find it. Dickerson. Yeah, the guy who's been getting beat up. he's now a little safer, maybe, for a little while, because he's been cured of the anger that everybody's being inflicted with. And so Dickerson figures out, he decides, hey, if they take Uzdi to engineering, that might be good. You know, I guess that's a good place to hide him. I have no idea why. And so he helps with figuring out how to simulate Scotty's voice. And her helps out with that too. And this is the moment I like that's coming up.
Yeah, the moment where you hear him modify some voice recording reminds me of Menagerie Part 1, where Spock like plays a tape, or it's definitely doctors the audio recording that's sent.
Yes. Hold on just a second.
I thought it was really cool as well that the when you see the the universal translator, it matches the look of it in Metamorphosis.
Yeah, that's true. And so with that fake voice, he calls for an evacuation of engineering. But Kirk knows what's going on because he knows that Scotty's supposed to be in the bridge, so he knows something's wrong with this. But there was a line I liked here. What was that line? I think Taylor says to her, "I'm glad you're on our side," which reminds me of when McCoy says that in Star Trek 3. After she tells Mr. Adventure to go to the closet.
Oh yeah.
And so once they have engineering all cleared out, they go there with Uzi. There it is. I'm glad you're on our side.
Yeah.
The Reluctant Dragon says, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying that was well observed.
Thanks. I got excited reading that one. The Reluctant Dragon says, I've been seeing ads for Pluto TV, and they advertise that they have TNG and the Andy Griffith show, but no mention of STD. Yeah, that might not be as exciting. I sure don't like it. But Smith finds everybody. She's still really angry, so she doesn't have that little band on yet. So she's messing everybody up. And poor Transporter Wilson, I hope he was just stunned. And I hope we see him again. And I remember if there's a difference with the phaser here, I guess he was just stunned. I want to know. Okay, so she secures the transporter room, so we get a bit of a fight here with McKenna and Smith. Yeah, but Smith wins. She wins this fight.
Like in a minute, Darkly Part 2, swing against women.
Oh, yeah, I really love that episode. Enterprise episode.
Mm-hmm.
Darius Munchausen is here. He's got a 199 super sticker. Thank you. Thank you, Darius. What should we play for Darius? I wonder if I have any. I don't have any Mirror Darkly episodes. Clips, rather. But I do have some Mirror episodes. Clips, rather.
When the cat's away.
Let's see if I have any more. I'm pretty sure I have a couple more. Where are they? I should know where these clips are, otherwise I'm just gonna do this.
The Golden Man!
You must be mistaken, sir. The gentleman and I have never met. Whee!
That was an episode of Lost in Space in which the robot kind of went crazy because somebody was messing around with his programming. Totally not the Mirror episode. Because I don't know where my clips are.
Yeah, I thought these things were supposed to be ragers.
Oh, I like this one.
Brother, life's a bitch. She's back in heat.
From They Live. One more look. You'd think I'd know where these are. Well, I'll find them later.
Is this maybe a little
Marksman, you keep missing the target.
Yeah, what's that?
Is this maybe like a little like King Kong, where like a blonde woman is that befriends something that you initially think is a monster or whatever, and then turn out that it's actually not. It can actually be empathize with.
That's an interesting idea. I didn't think about that. Yeah, there, and it's definitely she relates with him, and we see eventually why they do relate with each other. There's definitely more of a friendship here than just but that's an interesting way to look at it. And she does take the time to try to comfort him, but the rest of the crew who have not had their alpha waves bands installed yet are shooting at Uzi.
I thought it was great to see the return to the phaser rifle that Kirk's holding. From where no one has gone before.
Oh yeah, that phaser rifle. That is true. That is really cool. You definitely don't see that often. And so everybody gets into a fight. And yeah, he does have that phaser rifle. That is pretty neat. But luckily, Uzi survives that. I was so afraid that was going to kill the creature, and that would have been bad. So I guess it's a little, again, a little bit like the Horda. It takes a little more than a few phaser fires to kill him.
Yeah.
Because they say he's made of rock. They don't necessarily say silicon. Oh, there's Daddy. So now we find out finally that this is not a spaceship after all that's sending out the shockwaves. Shockwaves are being sent by the father of Uzi. And so he's the one who's been sending everybody the emotions of anger and all of that paranoia and resentment. And that's why everybody's been saying you're an undisciplined little brat. It's the anger of a parent that is driving the child away. The child is scared of his dad. And so you find out this is a how do you call a galactic CPS, Child Protective Service on an alien? I'm not sure. But it does seem we find out that Uzi is being abused by his he's not, Classic Comic says he's not a child, he's 34. Okay, you know what? We do just assume that Uzi is a child here because he's smaller, and so he's smaller than the parent. but Classic Comics is making, I think that's the Futurama joke from that episode where Futurama does a Star Trek episode where a cloud creature keeps the crew of the Enterprise to have an endless Star Trek convention. and when we see his parents, they're like, he's not a child, he's 34. So it's a play on Trelane. And that's
I thought maybe also like Charlie Evans from Charlie X.
Oh, Charlie X too. Yeah. Well, yes. And poor Charlie X had to go back to being he had to only live with the beings that gave him life to begin with, that allowed him to survive, because he can't be among humans because of his powers. So that's the loneliness that he has to deal with. And this kind of has that kind of timbre. You're right. You don't really feel comfortable that this creature has to go back to his parent because his parent isn't all that great. And so now everybody's got the little band on their arms now, and so they can think a little more clearly. Hey, Canadian Spider-Man is here. Hello, Canadian Spider-Man. Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you would like to help grow this channel. That would be really cool because I lost a couple of subscribers these past couple days. Don't know what happened. Sometimes YouTube unsubscribes for you. So double check that you're subscribed to your favorite people. And so, of course, this is the father of Uzi. And it's I think the species is called, let's see if it's in the, no, it's not. No, I don't know what kind of species this is. Did you catch the species of this alien?
No, I don't think it's sad.
Yeah, it didn't say. I feel like it should have, but I guess it didn't. But since the entire crew are now wearing their armbands, they're not going to be affected. So yes, because I was getting kind of tired of everybody beating each other up. So this is good. I'm so happy that they're wearing these things now. Although that was fun for a little while, they cut it off before it gets too annoying. And so he's so big that you'd never consider that he's a child until you see his parent. Oh, I like this shot. If I had to make my thumbnail again, I might have used that one. That was a really good one. And Scotty apologizes for how he's been acting.
Well, yeah, I noticed there's a line where Kirk like offhandedly says to Scotty, I'll fire you later.
Yes.
And that made me think of like Kirk saying to Maltz in Star Trek 3 The Search of Spock, I'll kill you later.
Oh, I have that. Let's play it.
Fine, I'll kill you later.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, well spotted. That's good. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem like Kirk can reach the father. He's trying to talk to him. Doesn't really work. But anyway, he wasn't using that translator thingy that they had to use for the kids, so I don't know what he was expecting. I guess maybe the universal translator works through the subspace. Or can the life form accept subspace? I don't know. I guess it can, because later on Taylor, Eliza, is able to talk to.
Sorry, going a bit too much into Kirk and Star Trek 2 the Wrath of Khan mode.
Oh, what happened?
I said Khan!
You said this.
You were saying Khan?
Yeah.
But there was a scene where it seems like Uhura transmits into space this like loud voice signal. I'm like, how is that even possible? Because as people know, like there's no sound in space, so I don't know how she's able to do that.
What part of that is it? What are you talking about?
Where Uhura like boost an audio signal to space of the person speaking, and And that didn't make sense to me because, like, as people know, there's no sound in space.
Right. Yes, that's right. You can't boost audio signal. You send subspace radio waves, or
Yeah.
in order to communicate.
Yeah, I had to,
And
like,
I
loads of
don't know.
paper for that.
That's why I was thinking, did they really turn it up? Oh, that would be weird if they did that. I didn't catch that. Yeah, because there is no sound in space. That's why you've got to use signals. And yeah, if they did that, that's definitely a mistake.
It made me think of the alien, or aliens motto: "In space, no one can hear you scream."
Yeah, they can't. Brogu says, dropping by to say hi. Enjoy your stream and the rest of the week. Bye. Hi, and goodbye, Brogu. I'm so glad to see you today. There is sound in space in Crispin Trip. Yeah, right. That was a mistake too.
There's
That was
sound
an
in
even
space,
bigger
like,
mistake.
all through track. Like, Nicholas Myers, like, says, like, about Star Trek Two Last Cans, that he regrets, like, not because they considered, like, having the starships make no sound in space, but instead he decided the decision was that they looked a bit like toys or whatever without the sound effects of, like, the engines and stuff like that. So, like, nowadays, like, Nicholas Myers regrets not having stuck to his guns, basically, and said, like, let's have no sound in space.
Well, there is okay, so the characters should not acknowledge the sound in space. The only reason that we get to hear sounds in space is because it's fun, and you want to hear the explosions and everything. But we know scientifically that is just our imagination, and so that has it's more bunkers for the crew to recognize, to say, oh well, since I can hear an explosion, I must be able to actually use the sound in a scientific way to be able to transfer sound waves, which you cannot do. And so I think there's a difference between using sound waves in space and just hearing explosions during a fight scene. So I think the fight scenes are fine. Just don't tell me that there are sound traveling through space.
Mm-hmm.
Booger 414 says, no one can hear you scream no matter how high you boost it. They put the speakers outside the ship. Yeah, that's hilarious. That definitely won't do anything. And so everybody's apologizing to each other, even though, they weren't in control of their actions, but they still feel really bad.
Yeah, the ship went Canadian or something.
Yeah, the ship went Canadian. Everybody's sorry, and everybody forgives everybody. And so, well, and Spock relays the feelings that he had, feelings of frustration he had when he couldn't control himself. Of course, it was nobody's fault, except for Uzdi's dad. But Uzdi decided that he still, even though he's afraid of his dad, that he doesn't want to see his dad die, obviously, because one thing that we forgot to mention was that the crew had to fire torpedoes at the creature because it kept sending those shockwaves. So Uzdi decided to leave the ship himself to protect his father. And so the way this episode gets resolved is that Taylor reaches out to Uzdi's father. She tells him about how she had a similar childhood that Uzdi is going through. She had parental abuse when she was a kid. And the author of this episode, Greg, wrote this story because there was a history. He had this kind of history in his family. And so let's see, what does she say? So she has a speech. What is it? Taylor. Oh, Taylor here. I don't know what your name is. Mine's Eliza. When your son came to us, I knew he chose me for a reason, but I didn't know why. Now I know why. Your son loves you very, very much, just like I love my father. I know in my heart you're not a monster, but every time you lash out in anger at your son, you become less the father he loves and more the monster he fears. Please find a way to heal yourself, because my father never did. And so the father listens to this, and it's actually seems to be receptive, but we never know. I guess we never find out if something changes or not.
Well, I thought it was cool that they had Uzdi's father speak, and I thought that part was voiced really well.
Agreed. Just a second.
Yeah, she says heal, but I thought, like, if you didn't have the subtitles on and you didn't know that she meant HEAL, there could have been like major catastrophe caused basically, and bigger misunderstanding if you thought she said HEEL, meaning like the underside of a food basically.
Oh, I'm getting a request for my daughter, and okay. And so I have to step away for a little while. Will you be okay?
Right in here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought this episode was really good. What did you think of this episode? Maybe tell us in the comments. That'd be great to see. This episode. Episode 6. So basically, just past the halfway point of Star Trek Continues, where there's 11 episodes in the entire series, and in the season. Well, they only did one season, unfortunately. Like how many points would you score out of 10? It would be great if you could tell in the comments. It's called Come Not Between the Dragons. So I think the dragons may be seen as being the aliens Uzdi and his father, perhaps, or actually, I'm not sure of another interpretation of the title. So maybe tell us like what you think like Come Not Between the Dragons might mean. If not, it's if not referring to the alien characters. Thank you so much for watching the show. And whether you're watching us live or whether you're watching after we've been live, we really appreciate your watches. Please subscribe to the channel, if you haven't done so already. Please like the video. And if you haven't done so already. It's definitely a pleasure to discuss Star Trek Continues. And we've now, on Jill's channel, watched up to episode 6. I like a comment. Captain Not Affinity is posted of popcorn. What snacks do you enjoy having while you're watching Star Trek Continues? That's true. Yeah, Booger says with most fan film series, season is a relative term. Exeter took years to produce an episode. So did Star Trek Continues. It was like a year. I think there was at least a long time between the episodes of the show, like maybe 2 a year produced. That's a cool idea, Franco Wonker. I think it refers to the father and son, Gisei. That's what your interpretation of the episode title, "Conduct Between the Dragons," is. So it matches what I think the title refers to, which is those two characters. Seems fairly straightforward. Last there is a deep subtextual perhaps understanding that's maybe not intended by the writers, who knows. I love this moment that's in the screenshot of the Enterprise launching, is it missiles or something, or photon torpedoes or something, from First of Them All. I loved that scene in the episode First of Them All. It was a really cool scene. I thought they used some really cool CGI in that episode.
Thank you so much, Dan, for covering me while I had to
You're
take
welcome.
care of that.
You're welcome.
My daughter had to have her tent put up.
All right. Cool. If we're done speaking.
Yes. If they're all Canadian, then they'd be saying sorry rather than sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, it's more English or British or whatever. I don't know.
Booger says I give all of their shows a solid 8. Well, I like most of them. I kind of don't like this one that much. This one that we're coming up on, Embracing the Wind. It's no, I really like the last one though. It's really well done because you don't see the creature as a kid until that's revealed. So it's really clever.
So in Embracing the Winds, I really like a lot of the sort of tie-ins that are made in this episode. Initially, like it refers to Corinth 4, which is briefly mentioned in the man trap.
What's in the man trap? What?
So Corinth 4 is briefly mentioned in the man trap.
Oh, Corinth 4. Oh,
yeah.
Cool. Yeah. DJ Play Nice gives it a 7.42. With most fan film series, season is a relative term. Exeter took years to produce an episode. That's true. So this took a while. There was a lot of time in between episodes for Star Trek Continues also.
Yes.
And hello, Captain Not Finity. Yes, yes, in that screenshot, yes, those were photon torpedoes. DJ Play Nice has a question. If God is love and love is blind, is Stevie Wonder God?
But what does Stevie Wonder need with a starship?
That's the real question, yes. No, then everybody who is blind would be God. That's a cute joke. Booger 414 says, if they were Canadian, they would also be afraid of the dark. What? Canadians are afraid of the dark? I didn't know this.
Me neither.
I'm pretty sure not all of them are afraid of the dark. Although I'm friends with one, I'll go ask him. The Reluctant Dragon says 25-ish years ago, friends got married, and the wedding was Star Trek themed. The groom played trumpet in the USO Nostalgia band, and his bandmates were at the wedding. Oh, but the story continues. So when he finishes it, I'll finish reading it. And so this episode, we're moving on to Embracing the Winds, the second episode today. This episode first aired to the public on September 3rd, 2016. The story by credit goes to James Kerwin, and the teleplay was written by James Kerwin and Vic Mignogna. It was also directed by James Kerwin. So that guy, really talented. He directed it, and he wrote it, and he came up with the story. It's pretty cool. Okay, so this is... Okay, actually, I'm going to wait until we have the entire story. Oh, here it is. Okay, let's read the whole story from the beginning again. That the Reluctant Dragon is sharing with us. 25-ish years ago, friends got married, and the wedding was Star Trek themed. The groom played a trumpet in the USO Nostalgia band, and his bandmates were at the wedding. One of the guests came in what we'd call today a fur suit with the bird head and feet. I said to one of the USO band guys, "How does she get out of that chicken outfit?" She heard this and said indignantly, "It's not a chicken, it's a parrot." Okay. Well, hey, were there any Star Trek episodes with parrots? A furry parrot?
Well, that episode when the Reluctant Dragon was referring to a fursuit with a bird head and feet, that made me think of The Cage, because there's one of the prisoners in the Telosian.
Could it be that?
Place. And then a parrot is a main character in Lower Decks.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't have been that, since this was 25 years ago. That was before that was made. But I'm sure there's been a few parrots.
Yeah, I think there's a parrot seen, or no, that was actually the Great Bird of the Galaxy that's briefly seen in It's a Big Goodbye.
No, okay. The only one I can find is TNG Journey's End had a parrot in a Vision Quest.
Oh, right, cool.
Booger 414 says the dark thing was a joke from How I Met Your Mother. When someone turned off the lights at the Canadian themed bar in New York City. Oh, I haven't seen that show. That's why I didn't get that. Thanks. I think it was meant to be a race in the animated series. Oh, those guys. Okay. Yeah, I remember those with the bird and okay, now I'm gonna bring up that picture since we're talking about it.
Yeah, there's like two there's two like species that look very similar that are avian in the animated series. They're
was she this? Was she trying to be this?
Yeah. So there's a score, and then there's also the other one.
There's
score in the
Kublai
jihad. Yeah, but that's I always thought that's more like a snake sort of thing.
Yeah, it's more like it's more like a dragon kind of. Oh.
Yeah, or a dragon. Yeah.
Oh no. Interesting. Okay. Enough of that. There's an episode here.
So Corinth 4 not only appears in this episode, but also is mentioned the Van Trap, and Corinth is a place in Greece. Sulu mentions an ancestor who grew up in an internment camp, like in reality, George Takei, who played Sulu, actually did.
Yeah, that's a good point. That is a very good point. Sulu does mention that, and I like that. They also bring from the original series Sulu's love for weaponry, ancient weaponry, and so he wants to go to the museum for that. Yeah, that I went to go see. I didn't see the play live, but I went to the theater, like the movie theater, and so they played a copy of a live showing of George Takei's play. I forget what it's called.
Oh, cool.
About his story in the internment camp. Allegiance. The name of the musical is Allegiance, and so it's well done. It's well done. He tells the story pretty well. And yeah, so that was a not great part of American history, where we decided to put everybody who kind of looked Japanese into camp, and it wasn't like we were burning them or anything like in the Holocaust, but we were imprisoning people for pretty much no good reason. It's pretty messed up. So, but it sounds like a really cool museum. That would have been interesting if they would have showed us some of that museum. And McKenna's going to study the Orions. I think actually the museum or studying the Orions sounds more fun than what Kirk and Spock have to do.
Yeah, I wondered if the talk about the Orions being inspired or influenced by the Enterprise episode Bound.
Mm-hmm.
I know you spoke about the episode before when you were talking about Lilani.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. Maybe they're going to meet up with him and see how that's going. McKenna's going to meet up with that guy. I forget his name by now, but he was the one who fell in love with Lilani.
Yeah.
And he was going to Orion to try to see if he could help change things for the ladies there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That would be interesting. But I think they're just colonies of Orion, so I don't know. They're not going to the actual home planet, so maybe not.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this one it's based on the premise of Turner, Brown, and Schroeder, when Janice Lester says that there are no women captains, like your world of Starship captains doesn't admit women or something like that. And it's a really odd take on it. Let's read. Okay, so the Star Trek Expanded Universe website describes the episode like this. The Enterprise is assigned to salvage a starship that lost its crew under mysterious circumstances, while Kirk and Spock are summoned to a starbase for a classified briefing. And so this is a take on Janice Lester's insanity, and I think it takes her insanity way too seriously. This is the 23rd century. Even the episode acknowledges this and still wants to move forward with this horrible interpretation. I don't like it. That there's any contention at all about women captains because of Tellarites. I don't know how much I have to say about this aspect of the episode because I don't buy it. I don't even think the Federation would be okay with Starfleet committing hiring practices like this, or even for diplomatic reasons, just to do what the Tellarites say, just because they're founding members of the Federation. I prefer to look at Enterprise. Star Trek Enterprise decided, Janice Lester's crazy. We're going to make a female captain. And I think so. Star Trek Enterprise did a much better job. They had Captain Hernandez, who was a love interest for Captain Archer, but she was a captain. And even Trip Tucker is a part of her crew for a little while, and so she's a slightly recurring character. I think that's smart. That's a smart way to deal with turnabout and shooter, is just say, nah, not really. Oh, hey, Scotty R37 is here in the chat. Just wanted to run through and say good day before I hit up Furiosa on IMAX. Whoa! Oh, yeah, he's gonna go see the new Mad Max movie that doesn't have Mad Max. It has Furiosa, but if you like that character, maybe it's a good movie about her. I don't know. I haven't seen it.
I saw it just the other day and I didn't enjoy it, but I hope Scotty does.
Oh, you didn't like it? Oh man, I'm so sorry. Yeah, you don't like it. DJ Play Nice says, enjoy. It's better than some say. So this is one of those movies that you're going to get a mixed reaction on. Some people like it, some people don't.
Yeah, I had no idea before seeing it because, like, you know, with Fury Road, it leads up to Furiosa. It seems like she, I can't remember what happens to her, but she either made queen, or there was definitely a character twist in the end of Fury Road. So I was waiting for like the sequel events to that, and it doesn't show any of them. It's entirely a prequel.
Mm. Oh, okay. A prequel.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, that makes sense why he's not there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I need to rewatch those movies. I didn't really pay attention the first time I watched some of them.
Yeah, me neither.
Hey, and Franco says hello to Scotty R37. People saying, have fun, enjoy your time at the movies. Little SSB says, oh no, don't do that. That's a person from Twitch promoting their stuff. We don't want to worry about that.
Spamming.
Yeah, spammers. Turnabout and Shooter is best treated as Lester's illusions. Absolutely agree. And this one kind of accepts it as reality.
Do you mean the entire episode of Turnabout and Shooter?
I mean, not the whole episode, just the fact that Lester is under this delusion that Starfleet doesn't allow women to become captains. And so this episode kind of skirts it to kind of say, well, Starfleet doesn't prohibit women to be captains, but they kind of just don't do it because they might upset the Tellarites or something. It's really weird how they interject that kind of more modern politics into this, like into the 23rd century.
It seemed like the Tellarites were shown as a sort of arguably misogynistic way in Lilani.
Yeah, and they kind of are. They're kind of like if you ever watch the Orville, they're kind of like Mocklins.
But I got
who
the
are
sense from Enterprise, like they just like a good argument.
What's the idea? I didn't catch that.
Just talking about the Tellarites, I think like they were treated in sort of an arguably misogynistic way in Lilani, or maybe I can't remember. Maybe was that a cover story or something like that?
Oh, and the Lilani. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
But I got the sense from Star Trek Enterprise that the Tellarites basically just like a good argument.
What's the good argument?
You know, they just like having a debate, basically.
Oh,
They just like arguing.
right.
Like
Okay, right. Okay, so that's their character, is that they just like to be adversarial, and that's what they mention here in this episode too.
Yeah. I thought it was cool that you see Commodore Gray return here, who was in Lilani.
Yes, and so they lost the hood. The hood. That's the main interest in this episode. That's the main interesting thing that happens. And
Yeah, I thought it was a weird accident that the Hood encounters with like the life support just suddenly failing.
Yeah, and it's a mystery. And the mystery, though, is not exactly even solved in this episode. We're going to have to wait until another episode, I guess, to figure out what happens there. Hold on just a moment.
So Commodore Gray says one of the advantages of being 1,000 light years away from the Federation about a drink that is likely Romulan ale. And that reminded me of Kirk saying the same thing about Romulan ale in Star Trek VI: The Undiscovered Country. Kirk mentions Commodore Wesley, and the scene also mentions like starships such as the Hood and Lexington, Hood and USS Lexington, and as you can see, like there's this display list of starship names behind Commodore Gray. And these are references to the TOS episodes, Court Martial and the Ultimate Computer. Wesley is also from he's also in an episode of the animated series.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
Thank you for filling in.
Franco Walker says Furiosa can't be a prequel. The apocalypse hadn't happened in the first Mad Max movie. Well, that's true, but so it happens in the span between the apocalypse and the start of Fury Road, the first Mad Max movie.
The Reluctant Dragon says, I was really happy they got Aaron Gray for this. And so, let's find out.
Yes, I think she was on Battlestar Galactica, was she? I think.
Yeah, she's and funnily enough, she's also called Commodore Gray.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna see where she was from. Which should be pretty evident. Buck Rogers. The Reluctant Dragon says it's Buck
Right,
Rogers.
okay. Not Battlestar Galactica, Buck Rogers, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So there you go. Oh, and she was in another episode. Very cool. He's put in for early retirement, so they're trying to fill the seat of the hood already, even before Enterprise goes to salvage it, because everybody died on.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's okay. What was your idea?
It also like reminded me a bit of Riker, because Riker served in the USS Hood. There was another starship that was called the Hood, but
Well,
question like what starship he would command and stuff like that. Like if he was
that's interesting. You should say Riker, because I think the girl who's supposed to be they're trying to figure out who should be captain of the hood, and they're thinking between Spock and this lady, and this lady kind of feels like a Riker kind of character, kind of like, but not Riker as we know him now, but more earlier Riker as we see.
Spock being offered captaincy that would take him away from serving aboard the Enterprise reminded me of Star Trek Into Darkness.
Oh. Oh boy. Well, actually, yeah, it actually reminds me of all those times that Riker kept getting captaincies. Like they're like, "Oh, you're going to be the captain now," and he's like, "Oh no, I don't want to be the captain. I want to stay on the Enterprise."
Yeah, I wondered if Into Darkness was released by the point that this episode was made, and it definitely would have been. Definitely was.
It was released
2012.
Yeah, I don't remember it Into Darkness, because I saw it once and I hated it.
Oh right, it was like my favorite Star Trek movie. My favorite Star Trek movies are Into Darkness, Nemesis, and The Undiscovered Country.
I really like The Undiscovered Country. But I don't like Nemesis. I would have liked to have had you on my Nemesis live stream though, because I had one other person who kind of liked it, and
I remember that. I was watching as a viewer.
Oh yeah, you saw that one. Okay, cool. That was a lot of fun. So if I ever talk about Into Darkness, you'll be on it for that one, because I'm not going to have any love for it.
I'd love to be on it. Thanks, Jill.
You're welcome. Let's see where I am here.
Yeah, a lot of the stylings and stuff like that, and according to Ford, reminds me of like a cross between Court Martial and the Menagerie two-parter with Starbase 11.
Yeah, that's not. I also thought about Court Martial too. That does make sense, because it's a very similar kind of room.
Yeah, or even the Measure of Man.
Oh right, just the idea of having that kind of trial.
Yeah.
So after learning that after Spock learns that he might be captain, he has a drink, even though he refused it earlier.
Yeah, there's a very similar like list of starship names in Court Martial. The one here.
Oh right, in the background.
Yeah. But the buildings outside the window, I think, reminded me of Menagerie Part 1.
Oh, I love the buildings behind the windows. Of course, that reminds you of all the matte paintings you get in the original series. They're really beautiful, and I think the planet is well done here.
Yeah, Albert Whitlock was a great matte painter, I think.
But there's problems with the promotion. And I think that Commander Garrett is not suited for command, not because she's a woman, but because when Kirk talks to her, she's kind of standoffish and she doesn't want to talk about her career or certain events in her career. And so she seems, and we don't really figure out what her deal is, why she's acting this way.
Well, I wondered if Garrett was any relation to Rachel Garrett.
I think so. I wondered that too, because they even mention her in this episode. So towards the end of the episode, they say, "I wonder if even a Garrett will command the Enterprise one day." And yes, of course, they're making a direct reference to Rachel Garrett.
Cool.
From the Enterprise C. So yeah, that's good. That's a good point. I guess
So
1 out of 3 isn't bad.
I should say, I haven't had time to watch the rest of this episode. I just saw for this. I watched the first episode and then I watched up to the opening credits of this episode.
Gotcha. Yeah, so they explained that. Oh goodness, I'm sorry. No, don't worry about that. I had a.
That Red Dwarf ringtone, that was really cool.
Yeah, that was a retro ringtone. Yeah. So their excuse is that Tellarites are the reason why the Federation isn't like they're saying, okay, so they don't have to do what the Tellarites want, but they do it anyway for diplomatic reasons. I don't know. I think it doesn't really work out for me. Because even Kirk's in the episode, Kirk says Starfleet's always had female captains. And like because of Star Trek Enterprise. So it doesn't deny the stuff that happened in Enterprise, of course. And even Laura is a commander of the Starbase. But she's like, well, this isn't a Constitution class ship.
It seems like they refer to. Sorry,
Yeah.
it seems like they refer to in the teaser. They refer to the Farragut as having been a Constitution class starship.
The Farragut?
Yeah. Because Kirk said something like, "You're like even going to retire the Farragut," which he served on.
Did they say that? I don't remember.
Yeah. Kirk does, yeah.
About, I don't think they say it's Constitution though.
No, but it
Is
seems
it?
like it's implied.
Oh, maybe it is.
I can understand. It's not established.
It's not.
As Constitution class. In fact, it's appeared in Strange New Worlds and being depicted as not being a Constitution class. But I think before then, in several role-playing guides and stuff like that, I think it was sometimes it was referred to as Constitution class.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. So Kirk has to help decide who should be captain of the Hood. And Spock considers that maybe he is good for the job, but if she's better for the job, he wants her to have it. And so I'm more interested in what's going on with the mystery of the Hood than that, because this part of the episode, deciding who should be captain, kind of drags the episode a little bit for me. I think if Garrett is the best person for the job, they should hire her regardless of her gender, and that would be the Starfleet. Like, for me, that's what Starfleet would do. It's something that's been in Star Trek since the beginning, and I think and Turnabout Intruder just muddies the waters of something that should be cut and dry.
And Kirk refers to an attack on Nimbus.
Yeah, and she doesn't want to talk about it. Yeah, she said Nimbus 3, yes. She doesn't want to talk about that attack.
Cool insignia again, different from the Enterprises.
Yes.
Sure.
Uh-oh. Oh, I thought I was getting a call. My phone was about to ring. What was that? Nobody.
Maybe you're getting a call. The call was not good. Or maybe not.
Booger 414 says, I think that flower insignia was headquarters or starbase operations. So, I mean, the question is if she's right for the job or not. And at first, Kirk is on her side, but then when he interviews her and she doesn't answer questions, he stops considering her for it. Because there was a loss, there was a death of her captain, and she doesn't want to talk about it. She says everything's on record, and you can go read that. I think it's kind of rude. Kirk talks to McKenna about it. Yeah. And I'm waiting for something with the hood to happen, which I think is really cool. I think it's really one of my favorite things is that her gets a costume change in this episode, which excites me way more than this drama with the Tellarites and whether or not Garrett should be captain.
It kind of it reminds me of one of my favorite Next Generation episodes as well, which is Contagion. Like there's a sister ship to the Enterprise, basically, where there's it's mysterious, like what's happened to the ship, the crew.
Yeah, right. Oh, Classic Comics says, too bad they didn't elaborate on what happened at Nimbus 3. That was the planet of galactic peace in Star Trek 5. Yeah, that's a good point. Let's see. Oh, James Cassard is here. Potemkin is better. Farragut is best. I haven't seen either. Do you like it, Joe? Well, hello, James Caserta. I'm not sure. Yeah, I wanted to hear more about that too.
Me too.
Yeah. And McKenna's saying that sometimes bias is subconscious, which I guess that's possible. But that's why they don't go by gender or race or whatever. You're not supposed to go that way. You're not supposed that's supposed to be taken out of the equation altogether. And Spock points out, okay, so there's one good thing. He says that there are things that we need to look into about Garrett. And so that's what they should be focusing on is her history. Got to go read those logs that she won't talk to you about. And so, and also she's demanding that they make a decision about the Hood's captains. Let's see. So she's not patient, but I guess I'm not patient either. This part of the episode's a little slow. And so they're going to have a hearing to judge whether or not she should be captain.
Yeah, this is very court-martial like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, except she's not being tried as a potential criminal. She's
Well, I mean stylistically and with Stone and stuff. It's very court-martial like.
yeah, yeah, the way it looks, definitely. And definitely with the computer talking, of course, we get Marina Sirtis again as the computer, which is nice.
As we saw in
Good to hear.
in the clips that you showed from it.
Mm-hmm. And so so I'm just gonna skip to when they go to the hood. They don't find any life signs and they don't find any anomaly. So that's what I'm interested in. That's the part of the episode that makes me curious. James Caserta says Jill is only for other Jills. What? No, I support other people besides other Jills. Actually, I don't even think I know another Jill, which might be weird.
Is that because you're anti-derivative, Jill? So another Jill might be too derivative.
Maybe. I just haven't had the pleasure. Burger 414 says Potemkin has heart, but nowhere near the production value of Star Trek Continues or STN or
Star Trek
IP2. New Voyages. Okay.
Yeah, New Voyages was renamed Phase 2.
Really?
Like the unmade series that was preceded production on Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
Well, yes, that's right. Right, because they were going to make a Phase 2. They were going to make a TV series, but then Star Wars happened, and they were like, "Hey, do we have a Star thingy, to make our own movies?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, we have Star Trek," and so they started making Star Trek movies. I would be interested. I do like this. I do love Star Trek 1 to 6, but I would have been interested to see what would have happened in that timeline in which we got Phase 2. But I guess we got to see some of it in The Next Generation, and I guess in some of the fan films too.
Mm-hmm.
Burger 414 says Farragut is a favorite of mine because they did animated episodes and because of the personal connection to the ship name. That's also a cool idea because at least you're getting away from Captain Kirk, so you're also not just making new stories, but also showing brand new characters, which is really cool. Mars Monkey Max says the reason other alien races hate the human race is because we're always trying to sell them stuff. Damn the torpedoes. Warp speed ahead, says James Caserta. And hello. Hey, welcome to the chat, Mars Monkey Max. How are you doing today?
Do you have a poll on it this time, Jill?
Do I have a what?
A poll.
A poll? Yeah, I do have a poll going on. It is, let's see. I have it. Usually I have the chat up. Where is it? Nope, that's not it. Let's see if I have it. There it is. So the poll currently is, which episode do you enjoy more? Come Not Between the Dragons or Embracing the Wind? And so we have 75% who are saying Come Not Between the Dragons, 25% are saying Embracing the Wind. That's pretty cool. That's good. Both episodes are getting some votes. So of course, Come Not Between the Dragons is winning, which makes sense. That's the one I like. Really well done. And I love the practical creature.
I mean, I was going to say me too, but I haven't seen this entire episode.
That's true. You can't say it until you watch this one. You might like this one more than I do.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I like about Scotty, I always love it when Scotty's in charge, and so it's always nice to see him
There's
taking the.
There's definitely a few Enterprise references in there.
Mhm. Yeah, it makes sense. There's lots of Enterprise references here. Do
In Human Error Voyager episode, I think.
Human Error?
Yeah.
Is a Voyager episode?
Yeah.
Let's see. What was that about?
I think it's a Blana episode. To do with the Cardassian.
Oh yeah, for some reason I don't have that episode in. I think I'm rewatching Star Trek Voyager, but I think I missed that one.
Well, it was referred to like in the previous slide.
Gotcha. Did anyone see Polaris? What's Polaris? Is that another fan film?
It's a sci-fi movie.
Oh, okay. Star Enterprise. Yeah, I think there's. James Cassera, tell us more. Burger 414 says Farragut and Exeter both did TOS era stories that focused on ships other than the Enterprise. Oh yeah, Exeter, that makes sense. That's also about a different crew. Oh, and Mars Monkeys Max is referring to the Polaris movie. There's an old Polaris and a remake with George Clooney. I wasn't keen on the captain of the Farragut. Every time he said Captain's Log, it sounded like Captain Slog.
Do you actually get to see the Farragut and stuff?
No.
Oh,
we see the hood. I don't remember seeing the Farragut.
Okay.
If we did, I forgot.
So who's the captain of
who's the captain of what?
Of the Farragut.
Oh man, I didn't really pay attention to the Farragut role in this episode. Let's see.
Stellaris. Yeah, Stellaris is a sci-fi movie. Polaris seems to be like set in the 22nd century. Seems to be a bit like Mad Max, but with so whatever environment.
It says, okay, so Memory Alpha says it was commanded by Captain Garovic in Obsession.
Yeah. But I wondered who, like, if there's a captain of the Farragut in this episode, because there was a post about the captain of the Farragut. It was one of the comments.
Yeah, but I don't think they really get into it.
Oh, right. Okay, so they were joking when they said Captain Spock.
I know that there was one captain, they were saying Wesley, they were referencing Wesley, and that he's going for retirement.
Ah, yeah.
Oh,
He was
that's the
captain.
wrong.
He was captain of Lexington.
Yes.
The Ultimate Commander.
Yes, the Lexington. Yeah, he's the one who calls
But then he's
calls
also,
Captain Kirk.
by the time of the animated series, he's a governor, a planetary governor.
Mhm. Right. Okay, so I think the problem with the Farragut is that it's been decommissioned. So that's what's on the that's one of the things that's on the board.
Yeah.
Behind Commander Gray is that the Constitution and the Farragut are decommissioned. And oh, this is actually a cool little list. Lost and destroyed, the Constellation, Defiant, Excalibur, Intrepid, Lexington, and Valiant. And then in service is Enterprise, Exeter, Hood, Congo, Potemkin, Republic, Yorktown. And I like the best part is they even have a little list of starships that I don't think are real that are in development. And it's Ahwahnee, Eagle, Emden, Endeavor, Essex. Endeavor sounds familiar though. Essex, Korolev. Interesting. And James Cassady says Starship Polaris by the writer of Tin Man with the planet Phobos and Transhuman Authority. Oh, interesting. Okay, that's cool. So it is a fan film. Thank you, James.
The Reluctant Dragon says, I forget the name, but it was a fan film made in Scotland, and it's hilarious because all the characters are Scottish accents. I suppose if you said, hey Scotty, what would you think of you? Well, there's, I know there was a series, I think it's called Intrepid. It was filmed in Dundee, Scotland.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you can find these fan films all over the world.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Oh yeah, Booger414 says Captain Garavik for the Farragut. That makes sense. I think that's what I read. I know New Voyages had crossover characters from Exeter and Axanar. Oh. And hey, Cam Cam's Crash Courses is here. Hello, Cam Cam. He's a good friend. James Caserta says Cam Cam. Okay, so the Reluctant Dragon says that must be it. Got to go. Gentle appointment.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Even if you don't enjoy the appointment itself, I hope it feels good afterwards. I always like the way my teeth feel after the appointment. I just don't actually like being there. Oh, and Chekhov has an idea. And Hadley decides to trust him. Hadley is this other gold shirt here.
So maybe Chekhov's idea might be instrumental to getting that promotion he's after.
Yeah, right. He's still trying to be promoted. It's apparently a risky maneuver and it hurts him. And he's Scotty doesn't like this idea. But whatever it was that Chekhov did worked. And so they're beamed back. They're able to beam back. Let's see what that was. I might be able to transmit Duotronic to transmit duotronic algorithm. Overload signal gain. Force computer to drop shields. And it works. Cam saying hi to everybody.
The deflector dish is fighting.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
I said that the deflector dish is fighting. Like in the best
Okay.
of both worlds.
I'm sorry. I can't understand what you're saying.
Oh, sorry.
Could you repeat that?
The deflector dish was fighting.
Oh, the deflector dish?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That was Chekhov's idea.
Like in the best of both worlds, part 2.
Yeah, that's how they defeat the Borg.
Yeah.
Or, how it helps anyway. They do a little more than that. They end up having to go onto the Borg ship and infiltrate. And that's how they end up being able to rescue Picard.
Yeah.
And I like the teaser because the teaser showed this and you think it's the Enterprise, but no, it was the hood. It's the hood that explodes just after the Enterprise crew are beamed back. Just in time. But with the hood gone, I mean, I hope that this is resolved later because we don't actually learn what's going on with that. We just move back to the hearing.
It's also
And
reminding me of the Discovery episode Context for Kings, which was like the third episode of Discovery, where like there was a sister ship of Discovery that you were also like, where's the crew gone? Like, what's happened to the ship? And it also blew up.
But hopefully in this instance we get an answer. Stom wants Garrett to be captain, and Gray endorses Spock. But Kirk is about to make his decision. But before he makes a decision, the Enterprise calls about the hood being destroyed. So now it doesn't matter. The ship no longer needs a captain. So what the hell did we just watch all of that crap for? That's why I don't like this episode. We don't get to find out what happened to the hood. The whole drama of the episode between who's supposed to be captain of the hood doesn't matter because the ship explodes. This is probably my least favorite Star Trek continue so far. It's still well done. It's very creative and interesting, but the way they end it, kind of unsatisfying.
The back wall of this room has a there. Has a,
Oh yeah.
like little thing, but signage that is in the Trouble with Tribbles.
Are you saying this thing right here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, nice. That's really cool. You remember that.
Oh, that's Stone from A Mock Time. That's interesting.
Yes. Well, Stom, not Ston.
Oh, right.
different, slightly different. I thought it was going to be Ston too, but it's Stom.
Oh, yeah, I
with
see
the
it.
M. With the M's, right?
Okay. But presumably he's a Vulcan. He does look Vulcan.
He is Vulcan. Yeah, he has the ears and everything.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see him. Hey, Starkovarian is here. He's saying, sending a like and love on my way to work. Well, have a good day at work. I hope it doesn't last too long. You get out in time. The anomaly, warp core, the deflector screens. I don't know. And that's what's worrying me. Yeah. So they're like, yep, we don't know what happened to the hood. And but Chekhov's okay from his little injury.
Oh, you hear it's new earrings.
What's that?
Uhura has new earrings.
Oh, Ahura has new earrings. Yeah, she does. That's true. I like those earrings. The red ones. And the only kind of interesting thing here is that Kirk talks to this Tellarite, and Tellarite's like, I'm on your side. I think women being captains is totally fine. And Kirk is surprised at this. And so not that the Federation should need any excuse to have female captains as they have before. I still don't know why this is the thing. But I do like the fact that they twist it, and the Tellarite is the saying, no, we have a movement that says that we want to change our policy for this kind of thing.
And the Tellarite looks very much like the Tellarites in the original series, like in Fable.
Yes, they didn't go with the Enterprise one, so I like that.
Yeah. Oh, there's the line you said.
Maybe yeah, right. Yeah, who knows? Maybe someday a Garrett will command an Enterprise.
Who knew?
Yeah, Captain Rachel Garrett of the Enterprise C. That's kind of the cute line of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it. We covered both the episodes. We did it. Good timing too.
That was fun.
Yeah. So Mad Mac Mars Monkey Mac says, "Look, it's me with the pig nose." Oh, is that what you look like with the pig nose? Very rock and roll. Oh, Penny's here. Hey. Hello, Penny.
Hi, Penny.
It is cool to see Commodore Gray again. View Billingsla played Admiral Stom. I did like Admiral Stom. He was cool. He was a good character.
Yeah.
Let's see if I know anything.
Good character.
Mm-hmm. I think he was new for this episode. There he is. I'm looking to see if I know him in anything else, but I do not.
Maybe in the comments section you can tell how many points out of 10 you think this episode is worth.
Oh yeah, you can do that if you'd like. And he's a voice actor, just like Vic Mignogna is. He's on a lot of, so he probably knows him through that career, being on animes and stuff.
Yeah, cool.
Nice. And Kyle Herbert is the Tellarite ambassador, who is not as close-minded as you might expect from a Tellarite. Let's see if I know anything about Kyle Herbert.
That is interesting, like you said earlier, the Tellarite's attitude. It's interesting. You said.
Yeah. It like if Star Trek continued past these last 4 episodes, that might be a continuing thread of, let's banish this kind of thinking that it exists at all is crazy. And Kyle Herbert again is another voice actor that Vic knows, so So I suppose he does a lot of hiring from his voice actor friends.
R.I.P. Grant Imahara.
Yes. Yeah. He was too young. This is really tragic. He was so creative too. Just an amazing talent in lots of fields.
Yeah.
Well, and of course, there's a lot more crewmen. I love that they have all of the extras. Just they list every extra that's on the show, even if you never hear them speak. They include them in the credits, and I think that's wonderful.
That's brilliant.
What I saw was a movie about dystopian future starring Vivian Lee. It came out in 2022. No. Okay. I think that's back when people were still trying to figure out what Polaris was. Burger414 says, if I remember correctly, uses the sets built by Farragut, although I think they expanded them. It's not. Oh, Polaris is not Trek. It's a retro fan film. There was a TNG Deep Space Nine era fan film filmed in Poland or Russian. Don't remember the name, but saw clips on a video about the best of fan films. Says Burger414. That's definitely something I haven't seen is a good TNG DS9 fan film. I wonder where they'd film. There's a good TNG set hanging around, or Deep Space Nine, which is enormous. That's an enormous set to have.
Yeah, especially the promenade.
Yeah, right. That's precisely what I'm thinking about. You could have Cork's bar, but then when you expand it out to every which way.
Yeah. I heard
there's a lot of.
I heard there was a next gen set or sets under construction.
Oh, that's great. That's good news. I hope for fan films in particular, or just for.
I don't think so. I'm not.
I mean, obviously, there used to be a bridge, the bridge of the Enterprise D at the Star Trek Continue, not Star Trek Continues. Star Trek Las Vegas, the Experience.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking of.
That's cool.
Yeah, people used to get married on that.
Oh yeah, I remember. Now that you mention.
Burger414 says many of the extras on these fan films are the fans who donated or otherwise helped with the production. Booger also went to Cork's bar when it was open in Las Vegas. Yeah, I would love to go there when it was open, when they actually went through, when you could actually go on the bridge, and they had this whole story and almost the whole episode for you to go through.
Fantastic.
Which sounded really fun. Yeah. Did Cork try to sell you something you didn't need? That would be so cute. That would make sense. That he would also be selling tourist items at the same time at Cork's bar.
I don't know about. My parents warned me never to trust a Ferengi.
Oh, a little bit prejudiced, though, don't you think? No. No, that's true. That's true. That reminds me of the time, I guess. Oh, Cork was trying to sell these stones or something. to Harry Kim.
Yeah.
Wait, did that happen? It feels like that didn't happen, but that.
Yes, caretaker in the first Voyager episode.
Yeah, that did happen. That is the first Voyager episode. Right. Booger414 says, I am a JP. If someone wanted to come to my state, I could probably do a Trek themed wedding like they did at the experience. Oh, wow. That's really cool. So you do more than just officiate. You actually help plan weddings. That's pretty clever. And sadly, there were no A-list characters like Quark there. And that's okay, as long as they were dressed as Ferengi and we had people in character, just a little bit. That's fun enough. James Caserta says, I remember waiting for the latest issue of the official fan club magazine to appear in my mailbox. And Sentai Ranger Donnie says, I still love Jason P. Hunt's Bring Star Trek Home to NBC idea. Shout out to him and his Sci-Fi for Me TV team. Wait, why aren't they still trying to do that? Let's get it away from Paramount. Good. That would be nice. Somebody needs to buy it. But we're not going to figure that out right now. That'll be for another time. We can talk about Star Trek's problems. I like these live streams because we get to think about the good stuff and there's always some good storytelling going on, and Star Trek Continues is one of those places, and I think these are really interesting, really well done. Even though I don't really like the second episode today, I still acknowledge that it was well made and well written, and the hood is an interesting mystery as long as they wrap that up at some point. And that would be good. Oh, Sentai Ranger Johnny says, if I were in charge of Star Trek, I would replace Alex Kurtzman and J.J. Abrams with anyone who understands the franchise from the get-go. If I was in charge of Star Trek, I would commission IDW and Boom to launch a Star Trek / Power Rangers comic. Yeah, you would. You want more. You want more Power Rangers.
I think that's a great idea. I only recently discovered there's been I think it's 2 crossovers between Star Trek and the Green Lantern.
Yeah. Oh, well, apparently there was going to be some weird crossover with Star Trek Enterprise and Doctor Who if we got a 4th season. So I'm not sure if I wanted to see that or not, even though I did want another season, a 5th season. Wait.
And then they did a comic
Enterprise
crossover Star Trek and Doctor Who. Brandon Braga wrote, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, probably. Brandon Braga did a lot of things.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I meant to say season 5. Season 5 is the season we didn't get of Enterprise. And finally, Centaur Ranger Donnie says, if I was in charge of Star Trek, I'd outsource America TV and streaming rights for future Star Trek shows to NBC Universal for airing and streaming across NBC, Telemundo, and Peacock.
So as far as I could tell, there were 3 people who rated coming up between the dragons. Is that what it's called?
Oh, yes, you're right. We have a poll. Let's look at that poll.
So there were 3 people who did numerical ratings, and they all said they'd score 8 out of 10. And then there's been one who rated the second episode, which said they rated it 5 out of 10.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I don't hate the second one or anything. And that's probably about how I feel about it too. Let's see. Well, let's look at the poll in the chat also. For some reason, I can't seem to find it. Where is it? Having difficulty. And maybe I need to close it and reopen it. So I'm going to close the window and I'm going to reopen it over here to see if I can grab it. Oh, that must be it because I don't have it open on my YouTube side anymore. Oh, and whenever you're done here, Comic Relief Crusader is still streaming. You might go check him out if you want to hang out a little more on YouTube. Let me open this. And then I pop out the chat, and then I should be able to share the chat. And oh, I skipped part 2 of your remark. I thought I read it. I didn't. No, I didn't. I didn't skip it. In fact, Dan mentioned how he wants crossovers too. So I did not skip reading it. You might have missed me. You might have missed me reading it, but I didn't skip it. Let's see. There it is. Now I can see it. I don't know why it wasn't letting me do it before. So we have our poll. And 73% chose Come Not Between the Dragons, and 27% like Embracing the Wind. Very cool. Sentai Ranger Donnie says, sorry, I still wish for a Star Trek Power Rangers comic book crossover. Well, maybe you'll get that someday. I hope you do. And who knows? Maybe a fan is going to make one before official one is commissioned. And so, okay. So there's a cute idea in here. Let's see. Anyone remember Alien Warrior comic? He was a stand-up comedian dressed as an alien warrior. There are some clips on YouTube. No, I've never heard of that guy before. Maybe I'll check that out. It's all James Caserta's fault. Okay, as long as we can blame somebody. Burger says, just hire the teams behind any of these fan films. They have proven that they get Trek much more than anyone who works on the official canon series. Yeah, definitely nowadays. Agreed.
Sacrilege.
Well, no, I agree completely with Booger. And not only that, the people who are actually using Star Trek people in their productions is the Orville. The Orville decides, hey, why don't we hire people who actually made real Star Trek to help us make the Orville? And that's why I think that the Orville is, more of the real modern Star Trek of today, even though, it doesn't have the official label. James Caserta says, after the musical, I learned to expect what musical?
I respect all opinions.
Yes, me too. And yeah, well, that's why you're here, because we can disagree on things and still hang out.
Yeah.
Mars Monkey Max also blames James Caserta. Okay, with that, I think we're all finished for now. Until next time, enjoy your Tuesday, and remember that good science fiction is still out there in the past, but there's also some good stuff in the present. Next Tuesday, we'll talk about Still Treads the Shadow and what ships are for. And so we will see you next time. And so I have my closing videos here where I will show you the trailer for the next week's episodes. But before I do that, Dan Lecky, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. There were a few moments where I had to step away where you really stepped up and helped me out. Thank you for that. Could you tell us about what you're doing on the internet and what kind of things you want to share today?
Yes, I've already gone into that already but I'm looking forward to the Redemption review we'll be doing on Friday. Thank you, Jill, for letting me be part of this live stream. So I'm looking forward to Friday talking about Redemption, The Next Generation two-parter.
You're welcome.
So, and then on Saturday doing a retrospective of Star Trek Discovery on my own channel, Subspace Chatter. Yeah, it's been a pleasure to talk continues with you today. So
For sure, definitely. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll put your link tree in here, right there. And so, until next time, I will talk to you. Enjoy your Tuesday. I'll talk to you guys later. And so here's the preview for Still Treads, The Shadow, and What Ships Are For. DJ Play Nice says, thanks for hosting, Jill. You rock. Yeah, you too. And thank you, everybody. Franco Walker says, take care, everyone, and much love to you all.
Signal all decks. We've been boarded.
Who state dares to hide?
Whatever these pulses are, it's making...
This week, excuse me, wait. I forgot to upload next time. Give me just a second. It's just going to take us a couple seconds here. That was from this week. Yeah, wrong one, Jill. Here's the right one.
Jim, he's you.
That's impossible. The bridge is empty. It was filled with dead crewmen the last time I was here.
Are you even a captain? When you have no crew? One man, two minds.
One of those minds was tampering with the other. The moon's destabilizing, sir.
We're experiencing undertow from both singularities.
Captain, a Klingon vessel has just entered the system.
Because your world always looked like this.
It is as it has always been.
Look at me! Look at me. Keep your eyes on me.
Doctor, when we launch that probe, the Hyalini will see in full, revealing color.
Their world is in turmoil. Technological innovation fueled solely by the desire to build more lethal weapons.
You stand here before me lecturing me about compassion. Who do you think you are?
Oh yeah, John Delancey next week.
that's cool. We may have a special guest when we're reviewing these episodes next week as well.
Oh, that would be wonderful. See ya.
Learn all that is learnable. And the ways our differences combine to create meaning and beauty.
It has always been easier to destroy than to create.
May we together become greater than the sum of both of us.
Well, now you have something new to think about. Carry on.
Fine, I'll kill you later.